Hi, this is Julie from the Sewing Palace in Helena, Montana, and I'm here to help you warm up your winter weather. So all of us like to start a new project come January, so I've got a great one for you, but it'll keep you warm as well. So we're going to show you a little bit about making rag quilts today and some other options that you may not have ever thought about. So some of the tools you might want to use. One, this is a circle maker tool, and I'll show you a little bit later what that can kind of do. Nice having a ruler handy so that you can mark your items when you're doing your lines. This is an air erase pen, so what it does is you can mark your lines and it erases away with air. Some Wonder Clips, which are really nice to hold these together. You've got bulky seams, that makes it easier. Some type of great snips. Now, these are sharp and pointy, they work really well, but these are spring-loaded, so you'll see a little bit in the video how nice that works because it pops back for you, so it saves your hands. Then a walking foot, if you've got a walking foot for your machine, or we're going to show the dual feed on the machine as well. And then once you're all done and you've washed your quilt all up and you've got little linties everywhere, this is a nice little lint roller that you can roll up, clean it up, and push it down, and it stores, and you can take it anywhere with you, so it's a great little tool. So let's talk about, there's lots of ways you can cut your kits up and different things, and we have some here at the store as well, but I want to talk about some of the options. So this one is just your fabric, two of the fabrics, and another piece that is just another fabric, which is going to give you some interest when you sew that together and clip it. Have you ever thought about using those plaids up? Do you have a bunch of those plaids in your closet that need to be used up? Well, these will make you very interesting inside pieces once your quilt is clipped. And these wovens, they just rag beautifully, so that's really a nice little element. Now you can also use just a plain white flannel in between them as well, which is also nice. Or the option we see maybe the most is to have a piece of batting in there. Now when you do a batting, because you really don't want to see it when you clip it, it's always going to be an inch smaller than the size of the block that you're using. So you've got lots of options and lots of ways to do that. So don't fret if you don't have enough of something, you can always make it work. And that's a nice option as well. So I'm going to show you just a little bit how that process happens today, and you're going to see how fast and easy that all happens. It's just amazing how nice it works. So the little quilt here, this yellow one, it was wonderful. So we used the circle tool on the machine to quilt the circles and used our decorative stitches. How many of you have those decorative stitches and you never use them? Well, get them out and use them because they're really, really fun on these kinds of quilts. And you can try them all out, and then you'll put your favorite ones back to use the next time you use your machine. So we're going to start with two squares that I've already pre-cut, and we're just going to open them up and take our piece of batting and layer it in the middle. And we're just centering it there. We don't need to measure or anything like that. Go ahead and put it on there. And I'm using a different color thread because I think that's also kind of fun, something that works with it. And this is going to be for a kid's quilt. Now I have a foot on my machine like you might have, but I'm going to engage the dual feed on the sewing machine. That's an even feed foot, and it works a lot like your walking foot would work. So using that when you're doing the thicknesses like any kind of quilting is going to give this much better because it's not going to push, and you're not going to have that problem with your pieces not meeting. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're just going to start. On the small pieces like this, I don't mark a line. I can get there pretty straight, and you know what? It's pretty forgiving, so you can get there pretty easily. I'm just going to throw another one through so you've got another one ready to start, and just continuously beat. I'm going to let this pop up there. Good. There we go. And we're just going to sew through there. See how fast and easy that happens? You could have this whipped out in an afternoon if you wanted to. So, and we've got some great kits just ready to go for you if you're looking to do that. So did you see how it got kind of there and it didn't even pucker or tuck? Because with the dual feed or a walking foot, that's going to make that really nice and easy. Now once you have your two pieces that are ready to go right here, that are, you know, sewn together, we're going to go ahead and layer these two together, and we're going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance now. So we'll go ahead and sew them together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance so that you will be able to clip them, and once you're done you can cut that. And now you have your piece ready And you're going to just split that seam open, just like that. So once you have your 4 pieces together to make your 4 patch, isn't that cute? And then we're going to pair it with a little car piece. So here's our car piece. You can see that they are the exact same sizes. So what you're wanting to be sure you're doing is keeping that open. Now, it's thick, remember, and those pins are not always the easiest thing to do.
Do you want that right sides together, Julie?
I don't want it right sides together because it doesn't really matter, but we're going to clip it and we want the clip on the top. So it's kind of hard to tell what right sides are together unless you have a different color on the back. So that's kind of nice. Thank you, Jenny. So we're going to clip and put these right sides, if you will, but it's actually
Does your seam
wrong
go to
sides.
the front?
The seam ends up in the front, so we're actually pinning the wrong sides together so that when we're done, all the seam, can you see this wrong side? And then when you come together, your seam's going to be on the top. So you're going to have a beautiful quilt both ways, but the nice part is when you're done, it's all quilted. So you don't have to do anything other than clip it and wash it and go. So it's one of those projects you could do in a couple of days, probably pretty easily. So see how nice those clips work to keep it together in place for you, and it's easier than pinning. So, and there's a flat side on these as well. So when you're laying them here, they lay flat on your bed of your sewing machine, but they pull off easily as well. So once I get lined up here with my 1/2 inch, I'm going to once again go ahead and just sew. And I'm not knotting, making any knots. You can do that if you would like, but you're going to cross over every seam as you go, so it's probably going to be okay. But your preference as far as that goes. So once we get our 1/2 inch seam in there, I'm going to cut that. Voila, you're ready to go. So you're just gonna, again, press this open, and you can finger press it, you could press it with an iron, whatever works best for you. And then it's ready to keep going and adding on to your piece here. So you can continue. And you'll make a row and then make your rows and then put all your rows together, which is really nice. Now, part of what I didn't show you is I do have a piece here that it's big. The little pieces are easy to kind of just eye and go, but when you get to the big pieces, it's really quite nice to be able to put your ruler across there, corner to corner, and then take this air erase or any kind of pen that you like, but I like the air erase, and mark that so you can see the line to sew across the big pieces, because that's a little bit harder to eyeball. When you got the little ones, it's pretty nice, but the bigger ones. So you're just going to be able to go ahead and mark to both directions. And the other thing that's really nice about this, perfection is not needed to be able to do these. So they're very forgiving, and I like that about them. Now you'll just go ahead and layer a batting and your backing piece, and you'll be able to stitch this and you'll be ready to go. Now, the fun part is we're just doing X's on these. You can do whatever you want. You could do some lines, or you could do like Marcia did in this sample and do the circle maker and make some beautiful circles, or use your decorative stitches, which are really fun as well. And maybe you haven't played with them before, so why not play with them? So here is the circle maker, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. So you're going to go ahead and place it on your machine. There's some little holes that line it up there, and you just screw it in place. Now this little top comes off, and you would put your piece on there. I'm going to just pretend I've got everything layered and ready to go. And if this was my center, guess what? I just set that in there, and I'm going to put, I obviously have a non-decorative foot on here at the moment, but I could make a single circle, and then you're going to put your cap back on here, and then you would be able to sew. And what happens is it rotates as you sew. The feed dogs help it to go through, and you're creating a circle all the way around. So that's a nice option to add, and if you've got it already, how much fun can you have with that? So imagine that, just selecting one of your decorative stitches here and playing with that all the way around on there would be really fun as well. So it's something you could do very easily and have just a nice, I love what she did with some fun colors on there. And you could put whatever color you'd like. So there you are. You have a rag quilt. It'll be done. It's fast. And now we have to clip it. So I'm gonna use these spring-loaded scissors because I really like those. So you unclip it and it opens up, and that's what's nice about it. It saves your hand from doing both the work. You're just gonna do it once. So once you can see I've got it here, you're just gonna lay the scissors in there and you're gonna just clip about every 1/2 inch. So you're just gonna come along and clip. And do you see how those scissors are springing back for me? Which saves me a lot of work. If you're doing regular scissors, you have to do all the work. Up and open, up and open. And by the time you're done, your hand's pretty sore. And none of us want to finish it today, do we? We all want to sit and do it all at one time. So I really recommend getting yourself the spring-loaded scissors. They are such a time saver on your hands. You're just going to love them. So that is it. So stop by and see us at the Sewing Palace in Helena. We'd love to see you, and come make a rag quilt and keep yourself warm.